Hello and welcome back to EGL9. It is the Turtle Beach Black Ops 2 Spring Championships and we are on the side stage now about to cast over EQ versus none other than Cloud. I'm joined by Sowers, who's actually part of Pool B. You've had a chance to play both of these teams. What are you expecting from this game?
Yeah, I've played both these teams and both games we pretty comfortably won hardpoint. So I think on hardpoint it's going to be quite a close one, but I'm expecting Cloud to push through really because they've got the experience and plus because they're like opposite each other, the trash talk as well. I'm expecting that to kind of overwhelm EQ a bit. So I mean, if EQ win, I'd be surprised. But at the same time, they are a strong team when we played them. Even though we beat them 3-1, they are still a strong team. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, we were doing a few little calculations before this game. It's quite interesting, really. Epsilon are basically going to be third place unless EQ win either 3-1 or 3-2. If they win 3-0, you're third, or if Cloud win, then you're going to be third as well. So it's quite a funny one the way the pools worked here. We're going to start off watching EQ though, and we're going to start off watching Robs. Now, I think it's fair to say we don't know as much about EQ as we do about Cloud.
Yeah, I mean, they went to I-Series, didn't they, the other week, and they placed pretty well. I think it was 4th place to play, they came, so they've got a bit of experience on LAN, which always helps because playing on LAN, prior to this event, it'll definitely help them. But we'll see how they get on.
Well, Hardpoint on Slums, it's been played quite a few times so far in the pool, and of course it is a game that you actually squared up against Freako Impact on earlier on main stage. Now, you did face a 3-0 defeat. Freako Impact actually lost 2 maps to EQ. Do you think that's going to help them here against the likes of Cloud?
Yeah, I spoke to the Impact guys. They kind of said the heads weren't really in the game, but when we played them, our heads kind of weren't in the game either. I mean, it's like a Sunday morning and we were kind of trying to motivate ourselves. I kind of said to the guys after, we need to make sure we kind of get our heads in the game. But EQ are a strong side, like I said. But it looks like they're taking a bit of an early lead here, and they've got the good spawn as well, so they're looking good.
Yeah, they do actually have a 9-point lead, and they have got that good spawn, as you say, because it will be going down to bottom shanty. Actually want to switch things over and see what's going on for Sneaky now, managing to get a little bit of an assist there against Sanity as Robs cleans him up. And it's just kill after kill being made in EQ's favour. This is actually a really promising start from this up-and-coming lineup. Yeah,
and as you can see right now, they've set up for the next hill. Somehow Sneaky got a really bad spawn there, so his teammates are going to have to try and stay alive as long as they can. And you can see right now, Too Much is trying to hold that back car. And he's got Kinez coming his way, but he's going to get the first kill. Big kill on Shane now, straight from the smoke. 3 players pushing that area from Cloud. They know exactly what they're doing, trying to get that spawn, and it looks like it's worked very well for them there.
Yeah, there's been a real big flank there from Cloud. And sure, Equilibrium are picking up a lot of points here, but Cloud are fighting their way back in. It does, however, seem that Equilibrium, though, are really putting up a strong fight. They're getting way, way ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Cloud focused way too much on the hard. They're actually getting the spawn rather than actually trying to push the hill as well, and Equilibrium have managed to somehow get quite a lot of points out of that hill. But saying that's 22 seconds left, they might want to start thinking about setting for the next hill. It looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Maybe Anthem's actually going to push next hill.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, I think it's fair to say, in my opinion anyway, this hill that it's about to flick over to is probably the easiest to keep once you have control of it on this map. So it's a very important one to get.
Yeah, it is, and plus as well, the fact that you can hold the spawn for 2 hard points at the top. So essentially there's 120 points on grab. It's essentially like having one hill that's kind of like 120 points worth, because if you hold that hill, the spawn at the back, you're going to be able to rack up loads of points, and sometimes that's how games change a lot of the time. You can be down by 100 points, and then after these next 2 hills you can find yourself back in it, but EQ have complete control of it right now. They're looking really strong on this, and Cloud really needs to try and step it up.
I just want to try and work out as well, because we've got a TCM gamer tag on there. Of course, the Cloud lineup, it is Josh, Mad Cat, Shane and Sanity. I'm going to assume that King Jake is Josh. We will get clarity on that a little bit later on. But nevertheless, we're sticking on board with EQ for a little while longer before we switch things over. Shane, a previous member of Prophecy, as were yourself, do you think he's going to bring a lot to this this younger lineup of Cloud?
Yeah, I mean, I think in-game they will get on, because all of them kind of love the kind of banter side of the game. But yeah, I don't know, I haven't really played them too much. Obviously we played them at LAN just recently, like just this event, but we haven't played them too much online. But I can imagine, like, when they get really hyped, they're going to be a really good momentum team. But I can imagine as well, if they're down a map or 2, they're going to start arguing, that kind of thing. So, I think this first map, if EQ do take it, they're going to look really strong to actually take the whole thing. So they're looking quite good at the moment. But Shane's team right now have control, and there's 40 seconds left, a lot of points on offer right now.
Yeah, they're really pulling this back, actually. I mean, they were way behind. It's less than 20 points in it now. Cloud actually faced a 3-0 defeat, much like yourself against Farico Impact. Don't forget, it was only Equilibrium that were able to take maps off them so far. A little bit of a surprise and a real shaky start for Farico Impact. But here we go. The score is almost level. This is some really promising play from Cloud now as they're really starting to settle into this game.
Yeah, and they managed to even up as well, and there's still 20 points on this hill. They might start thinking about trying to push for a blue and try and get the good spawn, but it looks like they're just going to try and get these last few points on this hill, because the middle hill, it's quite an important hill. People might not realise, but you can actually lock that down so well. And when we played Impact, they locked it down for a good 50 seconds against us, and we were so surprised with their setup. So it's quite an important hill, the next one. And they might, as you can see now, they're trying to move into the middle, but EQ still have the good spawn, so that's what Cloud are going to be trying to achieve right now. As you can see, 3 of Cloud are trying to push that left-hand side, but Xanity is going to try and control blue. And this is usually the min where teams try and get through, but Xanity gets shut down. And yeah, there we go, they got the good spawn, so it's worked out perfect for them.
Yeah, it's actually played out real nicely for them. Remember that, of course, there is a set rotation for the hardpoint spawns, and it is going to spawn in that bottom shanty area after this hardpoint, but there's still 40 seconds left on this, and we're seeing now Cloud getting right into this game. They're actually striding ahead of Equilibrium, who for the large part of this had been taking the lead, quite surprisingly, you could say.
Yeah, they seem to be moving to the next hill a lot earlier, but the Cloud seem to be breaking the setup pretty easily, which is going to be kind of a risky tactic when you play the likes of Impact teams with really good structured setups. It's going to be a lot harder to break their setups, so really, with them playing EQ, you know, they're going to get away with it now and again, but when they're playing the top teams, they're going to struggle to do the same thing.
Now, yeah, I mean, prior to teaming with Mohawk a few lands back at I-Series, Xanity was relatively unheard of. He's really come up in the scene.
Yeah, he has, yeah. I mean, we picked him up for I-47, and we kind of thought he was an improving player, but he was obviously a really good online player. And, you know, you get a lot of people saying, oh, this guy's a connection player, this guy's this and that. Kind of like Jerd, really. And he proved himself the other week in Cologne, and he's kind of shown he is a really top player. And it's the same with Xanity. He's kind of come through. He's a young lad with a lot. I think he's got a really good future ahead of him, as long as he keeps his head on his shoulders and, you know, keeps playing a lot. Because a lot of players, when they make it to the top, they kind of slack and they don't, you know, keep putting time in. But Xanity is a really top player, and he's holding this anchor really well for them right now, getting us some good points.
And I think a few people have actually been quite impressed by Petey. I think it's fair to say Petey receives a lot of criticism for his connection, and I don't want to doubt that. I'm not saying that he hasn't got a bad connection, but you know, have you witnessed his foul on this game?
I haven't actually played them too much, but Momo talks highly of him. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, people say there's connection players, but at the end of the day, for people to go big online, it's not all down to connection. You have to be a good player at the end of the day. I've always said that. Yeah, you know, I'd say land's more about keeping your mental state, like keeping positive, remembering what you're doing, more than actually anything to do with connection. You usually find that people like Jerd, he's come through of late after, you know, he's got a bit more experience now, he's been to a lot more events, and he's starting to really prove his worth on LAN as well. So,
yeah. And we are watching, he's got his tag down as base there, and of course we do want to get a little bit of clarity as to who is Josh and Madcat here.
Looks
which
like Madcat to me.
Yeah, I'm
sat in a corner.
Yeah, it quite possibly is. He's also on a 5 kill streak here, so he's obviously having a great game. Just bringing up the scoreboard very briefly. You can see kills wise, I mean, it's fairly balanced actually. You could argue that the Cloud lineup are edging it, but it is a relatively close game.
Yeah, I mean, kills out from the hard point. You know, any top team will tell you that. I was talking to the Impact guys before, they were saying that every time they win a hard point by like 100 points, they always find that they're actually going even. It's more about getting those defends and captures. Usually the team that you see winning is the team with the most defends. So usually that's the best way to look at the scoreboard and read which team is playing the game type the best. But it looks like EQ have got the control right now, and this is really important. There's still 6 seconds left on this hill, so they're going to be trying to get the rest of those points, but this next hill is going to be big. With the clock running down, whichever team can get control is going to definitely have a big advantage into the next hill. So they've still got the spawn. It looks like, I'm guessing this is Josh Madcat trying to push in, but he gets shut down by Sneaky. Playing a really good play actually, they're getting 2 kills. And it looks like they're going to have a good setup now to get some points. They're just bringing it back now, they're just 5 points behind. But yeah, they've got a really good setup on this. If they can hold this, I think they're going to take this map if they hold the rest of this hill.
Yeah, Robs was actually on a 7 kill streak there, and Sneaky here on 6 kills of his own in the hard point with the death machine, and now we are seeing Equilibrium take the lead. Look at those score streaks he's got lined up. I think this is looking very bad for Cloud right about now.
Yeah, it definitely is. With the likes of the score streaks, especially with the next hill coming up as well, which is really open, and it's definitely the best hill to use score streaks on. So as long as it can kind of like interrupt, maybe just contest these last few seconds on this next hill, they're definitely going to have a good chance of taking this map.
Well, it's been very close, and here we go. We're actually seeing now the points going in favour of Cloud. There's only 10 points in it. We've said before, though, the score streaks are going in Equilibrium's favour. We saw some big plays from Robs and Sneaky, and we're going to stick on board with these guys as they try and claw back this deficit that they're facing.
I think they're using the score streaks way too early there. Sneaky was using the score streaks on the on the garage, but luckily his teammates have got a lot as well, so obviously they communicated there and realised they actually have a bundle of score streaks there. But usually you see teams kind of saving the score streaks in more important situations, but it does look as though EQ haven't got control, so the score streaks really weren't used that effectively at all. And people don't realise score streaks are a massive part of the game, and it's not as simple as just putting a few score streaks down on the map. You have to make sure you use them at the right times and use them effectively as well, trying to get the anchors. And really, they've just wasted all the score streaks on nothing right there.
Oh my goodness,
That's
and Ainsley, two-piece after two-piece there, some very big kills, and he's actually allowed them to get control of this middle map area. This is going to go right down to the wire, and they need to be flipping these spawns around, otherwise it's going to be a Cloud victory.
And also you can see Ainsley's actually got a Hellstorm as well, so that's going to be really big. And if they can get the rest of these points, that's 10 points on the board, that'll put them within about 9 points of the next team. He's using this early, he's obviously trying to get them before they try and hold the spawn. And he manages to take down the anchor, which is really important. You can see his teammates trying to push that back left. And this is going to be big. If they can get that spawn at the back, it's going to allow them to spawn up a lot quicker, a lot nearer the hill and flood the hard point. But it looks like Cloud are still controlling the hill, so we need to try and make a move now because time's running out, 30 seconds on the clock, and they're about to drop 20 points behind.
Yeah, AQ are approaching with caution here, but they need to be throwing themselves into that area and contesting it because it is now going to be impossible for them to win. Very well played from both teams there, and it was so back and two towards the end, so that could have gone either way.
Yeah, it really could have, but I think the thing that let EQ down, they'll be kind of looking back on this and wishing they used the score streaks a bit better early. They used them way too early, and they actually used them at the same time, a few of them. So, you know, when you get those score streaks, you really want to be communicating with your teammates and saying, when should we use them? You know, have you got some? Have I got some? Kind of thing, and maybe that's what let them down on that map. Losing by 4 points there, so it definitely was the reason they lost that map.
2-3-1 to 2-2-7, and that's got to be hard to take for any team, knowing they were so close to victory. Of course, it's not just that they've not won; they've also lost. It's almost like a net 2 difference, which can really put you in a bad mindset going into the next game.
Yeah, I think as well, you know, the Cloud lineup after that kind of win, that's the kind of win that will usually motivate a team, winning by such a small margin. But it's also the harshest way to lose, like you say. So EQ, they need to try and keep their heads up, make sure that, you know, kind of let it get over them. But what's the next map coming up? S&D?